Peace and blessings, beloveds. Welcome to the sacredness of this eternal moment. The following video that you'll see is a live, virtual, one-to-one session, or segment of a session anyway, to enable you to experience firsthand some of the frequency that happens in one-to-one sessions, so that I can multiply the effectiveness of those sessions, and they reach beyond just the effectiveness of the blessing unto the individual that I'm working with, but will reach out and be a blessing unto the entire collective. It's so important that we multiply the vibration of transformation and alchemical elevation. And here now is a tone to facilitate greater expansion and up-leveling in quantum ascension frequency. Enjoy and fly well on the wings of quantum ascension. So you find the one by ceasing to look for the one. See, you've been looking for the one. You don't have to look for the one. It's not about searching. It's about being of the awareness that the one is a reality, is a version of reality in the womb of creation, in the mind of God, in the Akashic records. The one is alive and well, right there, as a quantum wave of reality possibility. It's not just a possibility, not just something that could come into being. It's something that already is in its first stage of being. See, that's one of the traps. Even people get caught up in quantum physics, is sometimes they're saying, okay, we got to collapse, the wave of possibility into the particle of a manifestation, as if the wave of possibility is not real, but the particle of manifestation is real. No, they're both real. And even when the wave of formless possibility, in this case, your beloved, collapses into the particle of the manifestation of your beloved, the wave still exists in the central core of your beloved. Just like spirit always is a continuity of being in the inner sanctum of our physicality. Even when we become incarnated, see, and our incarnation is a particle of manifestation, but we don't cease to be the wave of spirit, the formless frequency wave of Spirit Almighty that lives in the core of our being. So you bring the beloved in by virtue of being in the embrace of the awareness that the beloved is never not there. The beloved never left the building. Attention upon the beloved left the building. Where you begin to look away from the beloved, see, and you're looking away from the beloved when you're paying attention, for example, to the pain that you may have experienced in some past relationships. See, and you're giving all of your attention to how much it hurts. So now you're looking away from the benevolence of relationship. Because even when you're in a moment of hurting through a painful relationship, simultaneously there are multiple versions of relationship that are the resonance of exquisite joy. In that same moment that you're hurting through some lower frequency relationship. All realities are simultaneous. All realities are not simultaneously activated. The activation of reality is dependent upon you shifting attention upon it and passionately observing it. So you passionately observe this, your presence, your presence with your beloved, presence with the reality of the togetherness with your beloved. And just by being present with it and giving passionate observation onto it, then you observe it into objective crystallization. You observe it into its second stage of reality. The great wisdom, however, is that as you observe it while it is yet in its formlessness, you elevate your joy and gratitude for it as high and even higher than when it comes into the physical. You appreciate it as much in its subjective formless state as you will appreciate it in its objective state of form, which is just one vibration. See, when you and the beloved are dancing in the resonance of form, what that means is that the formless reality of your relationship with the beloved has slowed down enough in frequency to take on the clothing of form. It's still one vibration. Form is just formless that has slowed down enough in vibration to dance in the resonance of physical actualization. But it's still one vibration. And the formless still doesn't leave the building. When formless takes on the clothing of form, form lives in the central core and the inner sanctum of the form. The wave never ceases to be, even though it takes on the resonance of a particle of manifestation. It's still in the central core. Just like the Spirit of God Almighty is still individualized in the inner sanctum of your physical being and incarnation. So even now, elevate your appreciation. All of the glory that you will feel with the beloved, because you're spiritually, mentally, emotionally, physically, sexually, creatively, and economically compatible. Feel the resonance of your spiritual compatibility. Feel that light up in your heart even now. Feel the resonance of your mental compatibility, how you light each other up communicationally. Feel the resonance of your physical compatibility. You appeal to each other physically. You're pleasing to look upon each other. Feel the lighting up of your sexual justafari. You set one another on fire sexually. Feel the resonance of your co-creative expression. You empower each other to co-create and feel the resonance of joy through that. And feel the lighting up of your economic compatibility. You harmonize in the way that you utilize money and possessions together. See, be in the actuality of it. Be where you are objectively going before you get there. Be subjectively where you are going before you objectively get there, with as much appreciation for your subjective being there as you will have for your objective getting there. But the being there and the getting there is one vibration. There is no space between the being there and the getting there. You close the gap. So the question is, should you look for them on the dating apps? So the dating app is okay. It's the dating app is a way in which you're using matter to create matter, because it's something that you're doing, in an actual gesture. You had to make your profile, and you have to pay attention to who's responding. Now, there's nothing wrong with that. You want to bring a greater elevation into it. So it's not just about the dating app. See, you want to send forth energy to that. You want to say, I align in divine awareness with every version of reality where I only attract to myself from this dating app those are in the highest resonance of synergy with me. I align in divine awareness with that guidance within me that lets me know when someone is not a vibrational match for me. I am so honored, ecstatic, and grateful that I know, without having to call them or have them call me or even have a meeting with them. I am so honored, ecstatic, and grateful that I know beforehand. And if I am not drawn to circle in with them, I will send forth good vibrations and wish them well. But I will honor my time and trust my intuitive guidance. When my intuitive guidance says I don't need to circle in with that one, even if all of the physical specs look really good, if my intuitive guidance says I don't need to go there, I'm going to honor my intuition and not go there. And so I'm so grateful that I maximize the use of my time while I'm engaging with this dating app. And I don't express or put forth unnecessary time where there's not a vibrational match. And even bigger than the dating app, I'm going to perpetually tell my beloved how much I love them and how much I appreciate their love for me. I'm going to keep dancing in the actuality. I'm not waiting for manifestation. I am aware of the fact that feeling is the greater measure of having and the greater measure of experiencing. And feeling is also the power that creates the greater measure of having and experiencing. And so I don't have to wait for the physical showing up of my beloved to be in the exalted glory of the fruition, of the fulfillment of that. Just like I was being before I came into the incarnation of my body, and I will continue to be being when I leave my body. My relationship with my beloved exists before our bodies circle in together. And our relationship will continue to be even when our bodies circle out from each other. I'm so honored, ecstatic, and grateful to know that my most glorious dance in the embrace of relationship is co-eternal with God, unfolding down the corridors of forever. And so I embrace the eternal nature of my relationship with my beloved. Ooh. Hey, That's what it is. That's how it is. That's how it works. It already is, even now. Stop seeing it as something that is yet to come to be. Yes, it is yet to come to be in its second stage of reality in the objective domain. But that's even the lesser domain, because everything in the objective domain of form is constantly changing and always has a shelf life and an expiration date. But the formless resonance of relationship has no shelf life, unfolding down the corridors of forever. So even now, beloved, come on and up-level your appreciation for this. Feel the justafari of this right now. Like, get weak in the knees and just tingle all over yourself and swoon by virtue of that connection. But then the other part is look larger. To be in the highest resonance of relationship, you must personalize relationship ad infinitum. Every relationship that is, was, or ever will be, that you see in the whole of life, you say, oh my God, look at what fun I'm having through these parts of me. You link up the telepathic battery cables, your heart mind to their heart mind. You initiate the soul jump start, and you jump start the individual joyousness within your own being by virtue of the collective justafari that you see in collective relationships ad infinitum. That's how you do it. Never feel envy when you see other beloveds in delicious relationship. Feel the joining, the oneness. That's the power. You see? It's already there. And you can feel, even now, you can feel it. Even now. So just keep building upon that. And then you will reach a place where you will have no longing for the objective resonance of it. Because you will be so empowered in the belonging of the subjective feeling frequency of it. See? The feeling frequency of it is likened to spirit. So it's totally at one in the heart of God. See? The supreme deliciousness of relationship is first and foremost a feeling frequency in the central core of the heart of God. And God is the most real of all. And so the deliciousness of your relationship with your beloved is in the embrace of its already isness. And you just want to give your heart, your soul, your attention to that and choose joy. By deliberate intention, choose ecstasy. It's always there. You could call it reprogramming the mind, but it's not even a matter of having to reprogram the mind, but rather getting the mind to pay attention to a reality that's always been there. See, this thing has never been missing, ever, ever, ever. It's always been there. When it seems to be missing, it's because you shifted your attention away from it. And you were giving attention to the lack of it. See, when you're in a state of longing for something and yearning for something, in the longing and the yearning, you are proclaiming the absence of that something. Because yearning and longing doesn't give attention to having. It gives attention to not having. And so in the yearning and the longing, you're actually breathing life force into the absence of being with your beloved. Because that's what yearning and longing affirms. So I often say to you, you must morph from longing to belonging. You don't have to long for your beloved because you belong to your beloved and your beloved belongs to you. And the urgency must be released too. That's a big trap when you're urgent for it to happen, because urgency is its own form of fear. Urgency and impatience is the fear that if this thing doesn't hurry up and happen, maybe it won't happen at all. So urgency is a roadblock that gets in the way of the manifestation of you and your beloved. See, urgency says, we're running out of time. Well, that's a crock, because time can't run out on eternity. And you're eternal. You see, so time can't run out on you. See, urgency is expectation of desperation. When you're desperate, you can't have it. But when you're in a state of patience, see, patience is a form of faith that knows in due course of eternity, you'll have it all. And every sector along the course of eternity is a simultaneous reality, just not simultaneously activated. Just like today, tomorrow, and yesterday. Simultaneous realities, each one an expression of the eternal now. You see, the difference is today is in a state of activation. Yesterday was in a state of activation when we were in the embrace of yesterday. Tomorrow will come into activation when we reach tomorrow. But today, tomorrow, and yesterday are simultaneous realities. Now, just like, for example, a person can look at some painful trauma that happened many years ago, and by giving passionate attention to that trauma, reactivate that trauma and start hurting all over again, sometimes hurting as much as the moment itself, or even worse than the moment itself. See, because they once again observe that pain into objective reality. See, if you can observe pain into objective reality, then you can observe bliss into objective reality. See, and wherever you look in the eternal scheme of things, whatever sector of eternity you're looking upon, then you are, by virtue of your observation, observing that into objective reality. Just like today, we are observing today into objective reality because our attention is on today. When we reach tomorrow, we will observe tomorrow into objective reality because all of our attention will be on tomorrow. So the question is, in order to attract the soulmate, your soul needs to be healed. And yes, if you are not healed within your own soul and you haven't healed your woundedness around relationship, then when you attract a relationship, you're going to attract another one like the other one, because there's only the prolonging of your inner woundedness when you haven't learned what those wounds have to teach you. Once you learn all that any wound has to teach you, that wound no longer exists. And the only way to learn all that the woundedness from relationship has to teach is by surrendering and allowing. So you can't try to run away from that pain. You got to meet it head on. And you want to say to your own wounds, okay, woundedness, what offering do you have for me? Woundedness, what are the ways in which you can empower me? Woundedness, you are servant unto my expansion. You see, and so when you look at, for example, the woundedness, if you go to the center of the woundedness, you find pure light. So the healing of the relationship wounds of the soul is also about going to the central core of that wound. See, the woundedness, the pain, the despair, the fear, the worry, the doubt, those things are always the surface, can never be the center, because the center is the domain of light and love and God and the most benevolent resonance of that which you are. See, The woundedness is an angel in distress. Pain is an angel in distress. So that's why you never want to throw out, the baby with the bathwater. You see, you go to the center of the wound. It's like the wound is like an injured little child, a child that's been abused. So you might take that wound in your arms like a baby, and you rock your wound like a baby, because you know that there is something so pure and uncontaminatable in the central core of that wound. See, and that makes it easy to heal. So it's not like you have to bring forth some kind of healing from way out there somewhere and bring it in to heal the wound. The healing of the wound is simply about going to the center of the wound, where all of your attention is given to the light. Because, see, all energies were originally pure. Woundedness is contaminated light. Woundedness is the misuse of light, where we take the creative power of God and we use it in some destructive way to hurt ourselves or to hurt another. But it was light that we were working with. And we engaged in the perversion of light. But because all energies were originally pure, all energies will find their way back to their native purity. And that's why go to the center of the wound and you find the light. It's there.